Well, welcome to the Sportfish Spring Spectacular, and my goodness me, it is a cold spring at the moment. We're on Exmoor, we're at Wimbleby, and we've got a day ahead of us, full of actually excitement for me, because I'm going to be joined by my daughter Annabelle, who's very new to this aspect of the sport, and we're going to do a bit of boat fishing, we're going to do a bit of bank fishing. We're going to try and give you an overview of fishing a reservoir in a very simple way. This is not for the guys that go out there with about 400 fly lines and even more fly boxes. This is for you who may have just thought about going from a smaller Stillwater, or indeed a river, onto the larger water and a little bit fearful, and we want to take that fear factor away. Kai and I are going to try and remember how to, I'm going to try and remember how to cast and spend a couple of hours on the bank. Wimbleby's always been an early morning water, that's the reputation anyway, but it'd be lovely to embrace a new season on a reservoir and just celebrate spring. What equipment am I going to use? Well, basically I've got my early season search outfit. I'm sort of going home. I know it inside out. I know what this rod can do. It is a 7 weight, which is quite heavy for me, but I want to ping it out a reasonable distance, so I want to search the water and go around in a fan-like shape. Intermediate, because early season, you've got some options with an intermediate. If you wait long enough, it'll sink lower. If you retrieve as it sits on the water, you've almost got a floater. The tippet is around about £8. It's straight through. If I get presentation problems, I might change that to a tapered leader, but I doubt it. The wind is in definitely my favour. And I've got a dark fly, I've got a bright fly, so I've covered my options there. This is a really good early season search route, and ones that work. So always choose flies, look at reports, and here at Wimbleby you've got really good intel coming through on Facebook and other media platforms that tell you roughly where the fish might be, the sort of depth, the sort of flies they're taking. Absorb it. That's your own little encyclopedia right there before you even got near the water. So use the things that you've got at your disposal. And crikey, we've never had it so good in terms of information. So use it. Oh, this feels good. Oh, look at that. What I love about this time of year is everything's kind of coming alive. And you've got that willow that's bursting in. You can see the pussy willow buds, and then you've got the blackthorn up here. It's amazing. It's a good place to be. And I've got that early season phenomena here. It's called a floating intermediate fly line. So in order to get it to behave itself, it's not a bad idea just to put the rod tip underneath the surface and give it a few draws like that, just to get it really saturated there. So it should behave itself. So get the fly line waterlogged if it's an intermediate. In a way, look, it's sinking beautifully now. And the other thing I would tend to do, and it's something I like to do anyway, is to retrieve slowly. I tend not to pull it in very quickly unless I absolutely have to. Now, because I'm using a snake, every now and again I am actually just checking to see if it hasn't got wrapped up. But if you do see sections of that intermediate floating, just give it a quick pull. There it is, there it's started to sink, and just count it down. And it's not a bad idea to count your flies down initially, so you get an idea of where you're fishing. So count to 5, count to 10, count to 20, however long. So you get a good idea that if you do get a take or you get a fish, you can repeat it. Now I'm casting out a reasonably long line. That's what, almost 3/4 of the fly line, probably more. And I've just counted down very loosely to 5, and there's the retrieve, just drawing it through, figure of 8, into that line tray. And what I might do after a few casts is move downwind a little bit. The thing to do with bank fishing, I think, for me, is to move. That is most people I see nowadays just seem to plant themselves and don't go any further. Well, you know, if you haven't caught anything here within a few moments or a few, you know, say half an hour, then move. You know, you've probably you're not going to be far wrong with the flies that you've chosen. You know, if you're getting takes and you're getting rejections, well, that's different. You know, then you change it. Then you change smaller, or you change bigger, or you change colours, whatever it happens to be. But if you're getting absolutely nothing at all, then the chances are there's nothing there to be caught. Well, I've moved just barely a few paces, and the difference is extraordinary, because there it's quite shallow. You can see, actually, if I look with my glasses, I can actually see the bottom going out, and here it's suddenly dropped off. And I know in the summer, if you look at the topography here, you can see little edges here. Well, I know that this bank undulates like crazy when it's dry. So that's, you know, when it's covered with water, obviously, it's going to do exactly the same thing. So it's going to have lots of features. So the whole thing here is that I've moved, and we've got this little deep trough here, and it probably will signify to the fish that there's a sort of a ledge to run along, or if they're coming up here, they may actually just turn off and go out a bit. But it's a feature, and it's one worth exploring. The thing about, I think, fishing any lake anywhere is to keep your eyes open. You know, look for features, signs, anything really, fish moving. Although this time of year, the chance of that happening is going to be quite polarised to the middle of the day, I would have thought. Although you never know, you just don't know, and that's, I suppose, what's kept me fishing. Oh, hello, there we go. See, that paid off, that little movement. Well, I never. A fish. Oh, crikey. And these fish really pull it. They're going to be super fit this time of year. Water's cold. The fish are in absolute peak condition. You know, you can see it shimmering, that silver shard underneath, you know. Whoa. Do you know, what is it? How many years have I been fishing? More than I should. And the thrill is still there. It's still there. There's still the anxiety of, will I catch a fish? Won't I catch a fish? Will I land this fish? If you can get the head up, then it's almost there. But if it runs off like that, let it go, for goodness sake. Don't try and stop it. I see so many newcomers to the sport try and bring that fish through the flipping rod rings. Well, you know, this is what you have come here for, to play this fish, to enjoy that almost visceral feeling of electricity as that movement comes through the hand. But just wait, just get that head up and slide it. There. Okay, there we go. Is he a happy boy? Yes, he's a very thrilled and happy boy. Welcome to this segment. We've fished from the bank, Annabelle arrived, and we're all set for the boat section.
Yes.
This is Annabelle. This is my daughter. Right there, right here, right now. And the whole idea of this is to demystify boat fishing. Now, you will probably see any number of people going out fishing in boats in competitions with mountains of gear. I mean, fly box after fly box after fly box. I mean, I give you one like that, one like that, one like that, and there's a whole mass of them down here. There's loads of them. Which one would you choose?
Well, I don't know, really.
Exactly. That's exactly the right answer. You don't know. Well, the thing to do is, one, go out with somebody that's experienced, not necessarily me, but go out with somebody that's experienced. And if you're new to it, learn your craft from somebody that will give you confidence to actually enjoy what you're going to do for the rest of the year. So what we're trying to do now is just to simplify everything. So we're going to we're going to put those away, put them away out of harm's way. I remember telling you that years ago when I got small. First of all, I'm going to find you a rod. I've selected this one because it's a 9'6" weight. Now, normally you'd use a long rod out of a boat, okay, because you get that extra length, da. But I want to give you something that's user friendly. Right, hold on to that. We need to get a fly line to go with it. So, top of the range reel, brand new line. So that one it is.
We'll go with that.
Now, I should just say that Annabelle has already fished. She fishes rivers beautifully. So, but this is your first time out in a really big water, isn't it?
Yeah, I've not done that.
What I'll do, I'm going to set Annabelle out first because I want to give her the opportunity of catching the fish. If you're going to go out with somebody for the first time, or indeed explore the first occasion that they're going to be out fishing in a different area, then simplify it. What we've got here is a collection of flies. Fulling Mill do these, and this is their natural selection. There's some cracking flies in here. That's what we want. This little character here. Okay, it's a bung. Now, that fly there, Annabelle, is going to divide opinion by anybody watching this. Because they're going to say, well, it's just float fishing and all the rest of it. But if I want Annabelle to catch a fish, then I know that by setting this at the right sort of depth, we're going to up their chances, okay? So that's why I'm going to be using a bung. Always in and around the top, I've got this little tiny box, and it's almost like a day box. I'll put flies in here that I've got the most confidence in. So there's a whole variety of rather curious looking creations that have worked for me in the past, and I just like to have one box I can go to that has everything I might need in it. So that's my little box, that's my little go-to box. Now we got Annabelle set up, which was the primary thing. Well, what else do you need? Well, life is far more important than a day's fishing, frankly. Where one of these, most fisheries offering a facility with boats, they will have safety devices. Next thing, a long handled net. Last thing you want to be doing is, if you're in a boat, is fooling about down here trying to land a fish. That will land a fish easily comfortable at range. So a long handled net is an absolute, I think, a must. So why do you need to go to all this palaver and boat fish as opposed bank fish, which is what we were doing earlier, which seems so simple? You get your rod, you get your line tray, and boom, 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 off we go, and we went and caught fish. Well, here's a lovely opportunity to explore options. Now we're going to go down here. The wind's been blowing down. It doesn't look like it now, but it has. But it's been blowing into that corner. I couldn't get there by the bank because there's all those trees. So I can, with Annabelle, get in this boat and off I go. And if I don't like that, well, I can go over into Calmore, which is right on the opposite side. Now, to get there by road, you'd have to go halfway across the West Country. You know, we're going to keep it simple for Annabelle. We're going to be fishing for Annabelle today. So we've got the net. I think we're pretty much there, aren't we? I'm going to pop mine out. The reason I've got two boobies on at the moment, and there's a reason for that. It's because on a very, very fast sinking line, as I mentioned, the booby basher, and it's best fished virtually static. And what I can do is pop this out, and it lands in a very, very horrid way. I don't like fishing them, but it does allow me just to spend a bit more time with Annabelle. So let's pop this out again. I want to get right down where Damon's very bravely wading the shoreline, capturing all of this. It really is uncouth fishing, this. Right, there we go. There we go. That's down there. And yeah, give it another cast, Annabelle. Get a bit more line if you can. That's it, lovely. Smooth strokes, pop, pop, pop. Excellent. Right, now let go of a bit of fly line. So it, as the wind takes that down, I was going to say downstream. I suppose effectively it is downstream. It's animating the whole thing. So what you're doing is keeping your eyes. I would even put out some more slack line, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Waggle it out, sort of thing.
Waggle it out. That's a good technical term to use at a time like this.
So this would naturally just drift?
Yeah, that's going to naturally drift, and it's going to naturally do the searching for you. You can animate it too by bringing in those coils along the surface. There's all sorts of things you can do. Everyone's got the wrong idea about fishing the bung. It's as animated as anything else, quite frankly. But for somebody that's a newcomer, it gives you focus. It gives you something to watch. And if that thing goes under, or sails away, or drifts, or does anything unusual, that's generally a fish. But you can retrieve it very slowly too. This is where you want to see a fish rise. Oh, I really wanted you to see the surface fishing, because it's fantastic here, and you'd have fun with that.
Oh.
Did you have a take?
No, I thought I saw it move, but I don't think I did.
One thing to remember when you are doing, and you're fishing a fast sinking line and you're fishing static, is to throw out some slack. Steve Parton used to get me to do that, because otherwise, if you hold it, it's going to come all the way to you. If you think about it.
Yeah.
If if you cast all the way out there, you want it to stay all the way out there.
So how long would you leave it before your next cast?
I'd retrieve it to the boat, to be honest,
Okay.
but very slowly.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, we're fishing at different angles and different depths now.
Yeah.
And if neither of us are picking up fish, then the chances of, I'd be very surprised if we're not having interest that we're in the right place. Well, we've given it a while. It's not been a massive amount of time, but enough to get a feeling that this isn't going to happen. Right now, I think we go where we found fish this morning, back up to rugs and besoms. We're trying very hard out here, and it's just not happening. I think you get this impression that early season you're just going to rock up and catch a bunch of fish, and the rest of it. Sometimes it can be really, really difficult. This is one of those moments. You can't dress it up. But I've not had a take. I mean, it's just weird, this. I'm going to put this out, and, to be honest, all the fish that we caught earlier on, and the ones that we've seen being caught, have all come from the bank. And there's a reason for that, because this recently flooded area is full of food, and fish are not going to stray too far away from that. And I think there's always this myth that you get in a boat and you'll find them all the way out here. Well, sometimes you do. In high summer, they'll be following the calm lanes, and fishing a dry fly here is sublime. I mean, I've had afternoons and evenings and mornings that have been just joyous, especially off that far side over towards Calmore. But right now, we're going to go and try a hand on the bank and see how we can get on. My daughter and I managed to save the day, but I'm going to bring her back because casting was lovely. She deserves to catch fish, but we're going to make sure it's a bit warmer and see some fish on the top, and maybe fish dry fly, which I think you probably enjoy a bit more.
I do like a dry fly.
You do like a dry fly. Okay, so here we have it. My top tips. Well, the first thing is get information. That is, wherever you go online, go to the Facebook, the water you're going to fish. Pump anyone for information on the water you're going to fish. I mean, that is crucial, because from that you'll get location, you'll get depth, you'll get all sorts of things. All of those are absolutely nuggets to take with you when you go out on your little adventure. Now, the other one is stick to things that you know, not things that you don't know. We're very good at going and surrounding ourselves with the latest kit, with the latest this, that. Stay what I call home. Do the stuff that you actually feel that is going to ooze confidence. So that's my next little tip to you, is use something that you feel confident using. And if you don't want to use a sunk line, don't. Today was a classic case. I should have been on a floater probably all day, or an intermediate. I think I was fishing underneath them, and it's as easy to fish underneath fish as it is up in their zone. So be prepared to change, but go to do things that you like to do. The other thing is, and that other tip is fly choice. Don't overcomplicate it. We're surrounded by lots of flies now. I mean, thousands. But if you've got to change anything, change colour. Not anything else, but change colour. So start with black, and if that's not working, try orange. If that's not working, try white, and build up this. Now those are mostly lures, but you can do the same with nymphs, really. A black nymph, like a black dial or pseudo dial or something like that, or a pheasant tail or muskins, or just change things around, but in the world that you know. The other thing is just move. You know, if one area isn't fishing, you know, don't stay there. This time of year, water's cold, fish are going to be podded up. Look around you, see where fish are being caught, and go there. And the other thing I would just close out on this is don't be in too much of a hurry to get in a boat. Fish from the bank. We've had more success today fishing from the bank than we have in a boat. That tells its own story. Those fish are looking in the margins for food. That's where you should be. And that's it. But keep it simple.